comes into to the system here. So I think there is about 44. But again, remember, we're testing everybody, and we're testing people that have no symptoms, and we've had very few cases of anybody really getting sick to speak of. I think we only have 13 people out of 3,000 in our infirmary today, and none at the hospital.
He also mentioned, Judge, that he's hoping to see more of that testing expand. I believe right now he mentioned 150 were being tested. He's expecting to see that number go up in the weeks ahead to 200 to 250. Do you know how that will be done?
Well, I know we're doing 150. I don't know whether they're going to get it up to that 250 or not. There's a lot of demands now on the nursing homes to test everybody there, because that's a stale population that stays there. We'll continue to do that. And again, I want to remind everybody, this is not a population that remains there. We have 2,000 people come in one month and 2,000 go out. So it's a revolving population. And as we test out in the community for people that have no symptoms, we'll know a little bit more about that as we go along.
Judge, we have a related question via text from Telemundo. Will the jail change procedures if the number of inmates who test positive continue to increase?
I don't know anything you can change unless you want to let them all out of jail. We can put the ones that, and we're doing that, people that are tested positive, that are asymptomatic, go into one area. People that are tested positive with some symptoms but not really sick go into another area. So we segment them all. We're still checking temperatures daily. We are, again, in our infirmary, we only have 13. So, yeah, a lot of them are positive, but they're asymptomatic, and they're not very sick.
Dr. Kieran, I don't know if this is more directed towards you, and I don't know if this was asked earlier this week, but the city had put out a couple of days ago that the COVID investigation at the Southeast Nursing and Rehabilitation Center was closed. Can you elaborate a little bit more as to what that means when we say that it's closed from the city standpoint?
So we keep an investigation open so long as we continue to see new cases coming up from that facility. And if for a period of 2 weeks we don't document any additional new cases, then we consider that particular investigation to be closed or incident to be closed. So by that definition, we haven't had a new case from Southeast Nursing Home for over 2 weeks now.
Normally look for 14 days for recovery. Is that correct? That's correct. And we had 70 there. Remember that. And they're still all there. And whether you use the term recovery or whatever, we've had no more deaths or real sickness there.
It was assumed all along that an employee had brought in the virus. Is there an update? Is the contact tracing complete with that?
It's difficult to say, because if you recall, most of the residents that tested positive in the Southeast Nursing Home were asymptomatic as well. So it's very difficult to say, did the resident get it first and remained asymptomatic and then transmitted the illness to the staff, or the staff did it the other way around. So it's difficult to say with these high rates of asymptomatic positives that we detected. So of the total number of 60 cases from Southeast Nursing Home were asymptomatic. 56 of them were residents, and 4 of them were staff. So it becomes very difficult to exactly pinpoint and say who did the chicken come first or the egg, right? So,
going back to the mobile and walk-up COVID-19 tests that are going on, are there any more plans to put some on the south side of the city, county, where self-screening tends to have a lower rate in general versus the north side?
We are constantly evaluating the need based on the community surveys and assessments that we've done. Yes, absolutely.
Do you have any idea why those self-screening outcomes, the rate itself might be a little higher on the north side of San Antonio versus the south side?
We haven't looked into that in detail, so I would reserve any comments on that just yet.
We saw the wait time really long on the west side from last week. Dr. Emmerich a week ago had said the city was going to do better in terms of that, in terms of testing and staffing. With this new week and new locations, has the city done better in that sense?
I think so too. I think so. We haven't had any complaints. Last week was the first time. We were just testing. This is something. We had to pull in staff from other programs who this is not their regular day job. We had to pull staff from other programs to register and man and run this pop-up site. So, given the circumstances, I think they've done a great job. And this week, yes, we had increased the registration numbers to up to 6 people. There are a lot more MIH folks on site as well. So the wait time had dramatically reduced, and I haven't had any complaints.
And we did just recently increase the contract for the lab testing here locally to allow us more capacity at the mobile sites. So that's one of the priorities, is to increase the number of tests available at those pop-up sites.
When we say other programs, is like other departments or people from where?
Within Metro Health, we brought in staff who typically are not involved in clinical care or running of the clinics. So folks who are who their regular job functions are maybe outreach activities out in the community, health education, and they've all been pulled in to man the clinic. Yes.
And Mayor or Dr. Kurian, you said that the contract was increased for lab testing. So how many tests did we have the capacity before, and how many do we have now?
We had the capacity, I believe, at the CPL lab for roughly. There's many labs that are doing the test runs for us. So, but at the local lab, I think we had a capacity of about 400 tests prior to the end of last week, and we increased that to 1,000. And frankly, we're at the front of the line in terms of their ability to test more. We want to make sure that testing capacity is retained here for San Antonio.
400 tests a day or per week?
A day. Yeah. So we're now at, I believe, 1,000 from that particular lab.
So theoretically, we could burn through all of San Antonio much quicker now.
Yes.
Also wanted to follow up on a question that we asked yesterday regarding the governor announcing the Texas National Guard had activated facilities disinfections team. I believe we had asked yesterday if those teams would be around Dare County. Do we have an update on that?
Yes. My information is pretty limited, but based on what I know, yes, Texas National Guard will be deployed by HHSC to assist with disinfection within these nursing home facilities, and I think Southeast Nursing Home is already in the queue for this disinfection to happen.
And just pivoting back to the jail just for a moment here. So we know that 14 inmates had been released that had tested positive. Is that the number that you guys have reported, Judge, just to clarify?
Yeah, thought I would save you from any further viewing of the COVID-19 update from the city of San Antonio. And Judge Wolf and Ron Nuremberg, plus unknown city staffer, I'm assuming, maybe Metro Health, sitting there aiding in the discussion. Because as I'm watching, and we're going through it on the screen, I got the big screen right here, we're watching, people are logging on, and then as the mayor, the judge, and the other person drone on, people start hanging up on us. So I'm sorry I subjected you to the lengthy torture that was watching that COVID-19. And it does get a little crazy, and it's putting some people to sleep. So obviously, folks, logging off, and we got to get back on the show here, and let's get to the facts and talk about things. What happened at City Hall today, what's going on with the COVID-19 update, City Council today, national news. We got a bunch of hot shots and different things we're going to throw out at you tonight. But as always, welcome to the broadcast. We are tonight as well having a contest. We're going to get to that in a second. As always, put in the bottom what district you live in. It matters what city council district you're in. Just always curious who's watching, who represents you if you have questions about them. We'll also be starting to see on the left-hand side, my wife just tagged there right there. If you start the show like this again, I'm unfollowing you. My wife, Salo, is a troll master. Yes. During the political campaign last year, we weren't really going after on the social media. We kept her a little straightforward, and we didn't let her get unleashed on the social media. I think if we run for something again in the future, we're letting the wife go completely unhinged. And Dina Serrano comes in over the top with the "I was falling asleep." Okay. We won't subject to that any further. We'll do the first 5 or 10 minutes and we'll get back on. We just thought Tina Cortez, no one represents me. Apologize for that. My wife is obviously on point that we got to do it. We got to do a little bit better. Who? Brad Parscale. He's going to hire Annalisa Brockhouse to manage the digital campaign. Put your comments down below. We appreciate you. Broadcast's all about information. And tonight, let's get this momentum going. Like it, share it. Part of the contest we're doing tonight is 10 family meals to one of our favorite burger joints in the city, Papa's Burgers, owned and operated by Robert Walker. Papa's Burgers in the heart of District 6, down right around Old Highway 90. That's right. I called it Old Highway 90, not Enrique Barrera Parkway. So down off Old Highway 90, Willie Ning just popped in with I thought this was a CNN podcast. Wow, Willie. Wow. 10 family meals to Papa's Burgers, courtesy of the broadcast, my friends and folks here at Align Mortgage of Texas, and a realtor buddy who popped in. I'm going to bring him on. He's not going to like this, but come over here, Brian. Brian Pena, whose wife as well works at here at Align Mortgage. He's got to work around all the cables, but he's donating some cash as well, an opportunity to give out 10 meals. This is Brian Pena with the Remax Group, Torado Group, Remax Realtor. If you're looking for a realtor, you need help selling your home, he's donating. Give him a holler. Brian, what's your phone number, man, that you can get a hold of you at the office? Website?
Get a hold of me at 210-788-5453.
210-788-5433. 5453. The dude's giving away hamburgers. Not only hamburgers, but the best Papa's Burgers in the city. Give the guy a shout. You know somebody needs some real estate help. You know you can grab them here. We appreciate you, Brian. Thank you for being a part of it.
Thanks, buddy.
Brian, with the Torado Group, Remax Realtor, we brought him on. He's helping donate meals. We'll have a contest. The contest, Sal and I keep things pretty simple most of the time. Somebody said, yes, Old Highway 90. David as well, Old Highway 90. Oh, my God, we love burgers. Cynthia Ortiz. So the contest is really simple. Share the feed, right? So share the feed. Go on there. If you click it, I can tell who shares the page, right? Who shares the podcast. And frankly, right now, after that boring thing like my wife called out, we need to get some shares going. So share the page, and we'll take those shares, and then we'll draw out 10 names, and you'll be able to look. Papa's Burgers is the number 4 rated burger in the country. I think it was number 1 in San Antonio on the Ken's 5 burger. What was that? The burger contest a few months back? It was number 1, but Yelp rated number 4 burger in the nation. Hey, man, I'll take that. Right off Old Highway 90. They are fantastic. The fries are excellent. The dude flies his bread in from Las Vegas. So we're going to give those away tonight. Your goal right now is just to share the page, and then we'll grab that, and then we'll donate them and push them out. We'll put the names up on the broadcast tomorrow. My wife will make sure I get it done. We're going to talk to Clayton Perry here in a little bit. Share that information as well. Councilmember Clayton Perry. We're going to call him about a couple of key votes today at City Hall, and we're going to walk through some changes the broadcast is going to be working on. And we're going to be doing different things to get us ready for election season, to get us ready for what's happening at City Hall every week. We have to get more active about the issues and things happening at City Hall. Yeah, we have a lot of fun on this, and sometimes it can get out of control, get a little crazy. But what we have to do is make sure we focus in on the issues and things that are happening. That's what we want to get after. Issues. Wherever you fall on the issues is up to you. But let's get to the point where we're notifying, we're bringing up, we're exposing, we're shining a light in the darkness that is City Hall. And if we know in advance the things that are happening, then we could do things. So we're going to talk about that this evening as well. But as always, we're very thankful to be filming here at Align Mortgage of Texas, the number 1 VA Texas lender in the state. They are awesome, owned and operated right here by Chris Cano, and the team at Align Mortgage is bringing VA home ownership to the city of San Antonio, as well as anybody who's in the market for a home loan. Give these guys a call. Look at this space. They let us film here. They take care of us. Chris, we love you. We appreciate it. And we're very thankful for the mission and work you're trying to do here in San Antonio. Align Mortgage of Texas, we appreciate the space and the opportunity. And as always, our friends at AAA Garcia Bell Bonds. Louis, if you're not out there watching the show, brother, I'm a little upset at you, man. We have to get you in here. You know what? One time we're gonna bring Louis in. We're gonna talk bail bonds. This dude looks like he's a bail bondsman. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Not like Dog the Bounty Hunter look, but he gets pretty close. AAA Garcia Bail Bonds. He is awesome. He's a great friend of the show, always taking care of us. As we always joke every week, 2 ways to get out of the Bexar County Jail. They accidentally let you out, which happens frequently, like 25 times last year, or they can bond you out. And thank you. To Louis Garcia, AAA Garcia Bell Bombs. Abe Juarez, what's going on? Robert with a Fire McManus comment right there. And, of course, the illustrious Chinese virus popping up on the thread. The comments and stuff are on the side right here as well. We'll get to those and watch those as it's happening. We're thankful for Tyler Hall at Speedy Salt as well. He helps and jumps in all the time. very good friend of the show, helps out with technology. He helps fund us as a sponsor. He's just a good friend. If you need salt delivery to your house, automatic for your water softener, Speedy Salt takes care of it. Thank you, Tyler, brother. We love you. And, of course, as mentioned before, Brian Pena from Torado Group, Remax Realtor. Brian Pena is a realtor in town. You need that number. Let us know. Direct messages. Find out. We'll figure you out. Brian Pena, you can look him up on Facebook. Right, Brian? And he's sponsoring the meals tonight. So the contest is simple. Share the podcast. Enter the drawing. Russ Latham, what's going on, man? 10 family dinners to the illustrious Papa's Burgers on Old Highway 90. You are going to love it. That's 4 burgers, the best burgers in town, 4 drinks, 4 fries, and we're going to get after it, and you're going to have a great time. So thank you to Robert Walker and Papa's Burgers. We have a picture of those burgers you can put up there? Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if we have something available there, but there's a picture. It's like number 1. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that burger. Look at that burger. Hey, that burger right there can cure the coronavirus. There ain't no Rona. There ain't no Rona on the Papa's Burgers. Check that burger out. That's what you're going to win. 4 of those bad boys, 4 orders of fries, and 4 soft drinks. That's the burger, my friends. So, a couple of key points up front, too. We want to talk about this week, if you didn't know, is National Police Week. I think we have a graphic for that as well. I got the President's Proclamation calling May 16th to May 20th National Police Week. On Peace Officers Memorial Day and during Police Week, we commend the brave men and women of our law enforcement community for continually summoning the courage to fulfill their solemn oath to protect and serve. We also pause to remember all those who have lost their lives and have suffered permanent disabilities, defending their communities and the rule of law, including the heroes we have lost this year to coronavirus. That's the proclamation on Peace Officer Memorial Week, National Police Week. We have one more little graphic, I think. They've got a logo, like a little baby blue logo. I don't know if you can get it up there. But what's stunning about this is, and there it is right there, 2020 National Police Week, Heroes Live Forever. Thank you, of course, to the men and women of our police department here in San Antonio and all law enforcement officers. It could be you're a constable, you're a Bexar County Sheriff, you're working in the UTSA, you're Leon Valley, you're Alamo Heights. You put it on the line every day. We're thankful for you. Of course, we're wearing today the T-shirt for the Thin Blue Line T-shirt on behalf of Line Mortgage here. They put these together for us. We're going to be handing these out to our first responders across the city. We have them for police and fire. But here's an interesting fact I want you to know. Usually this converges National Police Week on Washington, D.C., started by President John Kennedy, I believe, in 1962. And one of the most memorable moments of the week is the recognition of the men and women who have lost their lives in the line of duty. This year they were going to recognize 307 law enforcement officers. You don't get any more serious, respectful, service-oriented, faith-based, family than the men and women of our law enforcement. And here in San Antonio, we are super blessed to have a fantastic group of law enforcement officers across the city and county. And we're thankful for each of you during Law Enforcement and National Police Week. We appreciate you, and we'll go from there. We are thankful you hold the line, and we're going to do all we can to take care of you, whether it's here in our jobs, whether it's recognizing you with something as simple as a T-shirt. We can never repay you the sacrifice you do when you leave your home, you leave your family behind, you go out on the job, and you take care of our community. Thank you to all our law enforcement officers. And, of course, this week we also had the Thunderbirds flyover. So I don't know if you got this video, if you could pull it up, but I want to make sure. I don't know about you. So we saw, right, the Thunderbirds come in and do their salute to America. They saluted and flew across. They're flying across cities all across the nation. But they came through San Antonio, and I don't know. How about you? My wife and I were talking about this, but we went on the top of the building here at Line Mortgage and filmed it. Hopefully we'll be able to show that here in a second. But I don't know about you, but then there's crazy stuff going on in our country. People are at each other's throats. You can't even disagree, right? You're going to throw out the most ugly thing you can say about political opponents, people who believe differently than you. But yesterday, I don't know. When I saw those aircraft burning on the deck, no more than 1,000, 1,500 foot off the deck, and they're flying through the city, they're wrapping around, they're saluting first responders, frontliners. I don't know about you, but I was welling up with, there was a level of pride. I couldn't, you just don't see that very often. And even if it was for a brief moment, it gives a respite, right? A little bit of a, hey, hold on a second here. We're still in all this together. And yeah, we disagree with each other. And yeah, campaigns are ugly and politics is ugly and the decisions are tough and we're destroying each other politically. But man, when those Thunderbirds hit the deck, they flew in off of Bandera. It was killer. Let's see the video, just a little slow motion that Salo and Charlie shot up on the rooftop. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, that was some pride. Not just because I served in the Air Force. Yeah. So the guy at the front of the thing, an image guy doing like that, his name's Joel Sparta, is a work buddy here. He's a retired Air Force. I think he's a chief master sergeant, retired chief. But Joel was up there on the deck too. We were checking everything out, man, and you just feel pride at your country, at what you love about it, right? Like there's the joke about that's the sound of freedom. Man, that was the sound of freedom. And, you know, some people who trash our country, who trash our community, right? Who trash the decisions, who jump quickly to tell others you're a racist, you're this, you're that, blah, blah, blah. And it's both sides, right? Man, we're proud of the place we live in. And those Thunderbirds flying over our city, exclamation point on what it means to be American. Thank you for that. And of course, the most important piece was they were recognizing the frontliners across the community and their pattern they flew, went over hospitals, went over downtown. Man, grateful to be an American. Thankful to be a San Antonian, right? Lifelong, thankful to be a San Antonian, and we appreciate all you do. So, good stuff. Now, a couple of updates from, and we're going to call Clayton Perry here in a little bit because we want to talk about what happened at City Hall today. Abe Juarez in one of the comments a minute ago, Ron Hicks, what's up, buddy? Graham Landry, good to see you. Share the podcast, 10 family meals if you share it. We're going to do a raffle. We're going to feed some people. We're going to feed some people the best burgers in the city. But today, right? The mayor came in and did his COVID-19 update and briefing, but the whole morning was the city council, and we're going to talk about a couple of major votes down there. And one incident, we don't have much of a recording on it yet because we have to cut it up. It's a long videotape. But some people were kicked out of City Hall today because they went after the mayor verbally and attacked the council. So just a lot of anger floating around out there. But some updates real quick from on behalf that we saw today for the mayor's COVID-19 briefing. 2,041 cases. 44 new cases overnight in the jail, according to Javier Salazar. 44 new cases overnight for a total of 386 cases in the jail. From the city, we only saw 14 new cases. So a lot of talk about reopening the city and seeing a relapse, a round two of the flu, the whatever you want to call it, the coronavirus, we'll get into that in a second, right? The special names we have. But the coronavirus, the relapse that they're saying can happen if we open too quickly. You have the city of San Antonio working against Austin, working against Governor Abbott. You've got Ron and Nelson get into paper fights with Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott over who can open, who can do what, who can't. It's embarrassing, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But all this is opening back up. We had 14 new cases. So data matters in the overall scheme of things when it comes to the decisions we make. Nothing is indicative that San Antonio is struggling right now. We are also have opened up 2 new testing centers, so you can get tested in the city without the symptoms, because there's going to be a huge understanding once we find out who has been asymptomatic while transmitting coronavirus potentially, as well as what that means for antibody testing. So we're going to learn that probably thousands upon thousands of more people were infected with coronavirus than we ever knew. And that's going to make the numbers what they truly are, which was that coronavirus ultimately is not going to be as deadly as we all thought. Right now, it's like 99.7% recovery rate. But as we test more, the positive part of that is we get better contact tracing. We know who's got the problems. We know how to isolate. The social distancing is still ongoing, and thank you, San Antonio, for that. But as we learn who has, right, and how many, those mortality rates, the ICU rates, the ventilator rates, those all start to drop the more people we find out. And that begins this whole conversation of herd immunity and what happens when we hit a point as a community where enough people have been infected that now the implication is immunity across all. Now, we don't have all the immunity answers right yet, right? We don't know that if you get coronavirus, are you truly immune from it in the future? We're going to learn all those things. But the numbers, we're going to learn. We're going to learn. And I think it's going to expose one thing in particular. The fear of the media, right, has compounded this situation. The media, man, you can't turn on CNN without hearing that the world's about to end, right? Hell, man, they had Greta Thunberg, the climate activist girl from Sweden. They have her as an expert on a coronavirus panel, but whatever. But at the end of the day, we're going to learn what happened with it. And it's going to be important when we debrief and break this down. We're going to talk about that too here in a little bit. Let's put up number one, herd immunity, Victoria Cavazos without a vaccine. That's a good point. So put up, I think the graphics, number 4, I think it is. Yeah, here we go. Here's the surveillance data. Don't forget, you can go to the city of San Antonio. One thing that the city was accused of that was on point was they weren't putting enough information and data out, which is normal for the city of San Antonio and its public relations team. They're not very good. So they don't put out information. One of the things I would immediately change is clean house and make sure it is the most transparent, right? Every bit of data and information goes out. I don't care what it is. Right? Just put it out there. Let's figure out what the stats and let the public have the information. They were struggling to get this type of data out from the surveillance piece, the COVID-19 surveillance data. This can be found at sanantonio.gov. And in looking at this, you could see where the hotspots are. They would even tell us where people were infected early on. And frankly, they had struggles themselves with testing and making it happen and rolling it out. But here you can see hospitalized 293, total confirmed cases 1976. It lags behind because the data is not as quick. So there's a surveillance piece. You can go to the next pick. Slide it right on over. There's a screening piece. So you can go online, do an online screening test where you fill out and answer about 10 questions. And you can see 35,000 had a recommendation to get out and test. Here's back to, hey, man, we may have had coronavirus in this community back in February, back in January, back in December. Online screenings. You can go in there, answer a few questions, and it tells you what to do. 23,000 calls to the hotline. This is good information that should have been out from the beginning. This is not hard to put together, but getting this out 2 months after the fact, that's broken. And you can see where the bulk of the calls are coming from as well. And don't forget, that line right there, you could say where right from probably about Highway 90 up, you see a high concentration of people reaching out and using the self-screening tool. South of Highway 90, you see it struggling, right? Into the west side, down into District 4, down into District 3, east side in District 2, you see some problems with the usage amount. So part of that is access to the digital divide. Part of it is access to internet services. Part of it is access to information. So that's a good map to learn two things. Number one is what's happening, period. Number two is who's not getting information or access to things in the city. I think we got one more slide, and then we'll pop up the last bit of data on the update. There it is. U.S. cases at 1.4 million. Bexar County at 1,976. Texas cases 43,000. Bexar County deaths 58. And I think they mentioned today there was one more death. Texas has 1,177. U.S. deaths almost at 85,000 on a 1.4 million case position right there. So those are the COVID-19 stats. So interesting information, all available at the city of San Antonio. sanantonio.gov. Go out, click it, and get it done there. How many folks died of the flu in the past 3 months? Robert's got a good question right there. I'm so glad we are paying a mayor and judge to sit and read numbers every night. Joe Cantu is absolutely right. Boycott Hollywood. I talked to a nurse, there's Jason Matthews, that said back in October they had people with flu-like symptoms that tested negative for the flu. She believes it was the flu. So, yay, you know what? That is legit. People have had it, and we just didn't know. Media drives policy. CNN is a joke. Obamagate, we're going to talk about that one a little bit later, too. Sheeple follow the media. What else we got up top there? Man, there's some good comments. Man, people are on point today. All right. The virus is located in a nursing home and a prison. That is true. Steve Beeler asking to run for mayor. Yeah, hey, man, I'm thinking about it. Our city council, other than Perry's, an embarrassment. Roberto Fernandez, you really need to run for mayor again and clean up City Hall, except for Clayton. That's no joke. We're going to call Clayton in a minute because we want to talk about some of these stats. And look, it's an interesting time period, right? The city council, and a lot of people are starting to feel this way, is not representing the community. They're not representative of who we are. And part of that is, for a lack of listening. Part of it is you don't see them out in the community. Part of it is you don't know half the people who these are. Some of it is they're not from San Antonio. They don't get us. And you think that, well, man, Greg, you don't have to be from San Antonio to be a city council person. You're absolutely right. You don't have to be born. You don't have to be born here. You don't have to be raised here. You can come here and live here for 6 months and run for city council. But the point is, you don't know how we operate. Like passing a proclamation that says we can't say Chinese virus or else we're a bunch of racists, right? It's not happening in San Antonio. I mean, look, racism happens everywhere. But anybody who thinks that's a good policy, right? I'm sorry. It's not representative of who San Antonio is. And the city council, I think, over the years has been getting further and further and further away from the day-to-day street, right? What's happening in communities and neighborhoods. And a lot of people, frankly, have had it. And they're starting to speak up like they did at City Hall today. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to call, let me see if I can get a hold of Clayton. I don't know if he's going to answer. But a couple things we want to ask Clayton Perry. So, Clayton, if you're watching, we're going to give you a holler, brother, so we can talk about your votes today and what went down. 3 things are interesting. Number one is, obviously, people showed up today to talk about, once again, the cenotaph and the treatment on the Chinese virus, the proclamation language. So what happened with the proclamation language? We got to talk about that. Stephen, good point. City Council has its own agenda. That's absolutely right. And then they voted today on an extension from Roberto Trevino, an extension of a policy to prevent evictions. So right now, you can evict the person, right? They're not paying their rent. You have to give them notice of eviction, and then they've got X amount of days to get out. What the city council wanted to do today, and they voted it down 5-6. Let's be very clear here. It was a rebuke of the Roberto Trevino narrative and Ron Nirenberg. Ron Nirenberg voted for this today, and it lost. So the council stood up to Ron Nirenberg today. So what happened was they're saying, hey, look, you have to give a 60-day notice prior to the actual notice of eviction. We get it. We don't want people thrown out of their homes. We don't want that. But think about the other side of this conversation, and that's the property owner who still has to make his or her mortgage payment that she is renting. He or she's renting that house out, right? They have multiple properties. That perhaps is their business, right? They're in the real estate business. They have bills due as well. And to tell them, do not kick anybody out, let them live there without paying a dime, right, is going to put them in financial up and saying, hold on a second here. This is a business. This is my livelihood. If you waive my ability to collect rents and to hold renters accountable, we got a lot of problems. Look, the city's putting $25 million into rental assistance. Bexar County today put in additional, I think, $6 or $7 million. So there's money out there going to it. But what we see is the council stepped up today and pushed back on it. Let's call and see if we can get a hold of it. I have him in my phone as CP10. I don't know if we're going to get him, but we're going to ask him what the heck happened and how they stood back up against the mayor. Let's see here. Oh, man. Can you hear him? Rando call.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
You got him? Can we hear him?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Can people hear out there in the? Yeah. Let us know if you hear him well on the comments. So we got you, man. We got you. We're bringing you up. I got you on the phone. So hey, be very careful, man.
You got me hook, line, and sinker now.
Be careful. I got you, and I'm recording you.
Okay. All right. Go for it. Go for it. I get recorded every day.
I get recorded everybody. This is Councilmember Clayton Perry, representing District 10, elected in 2017. We served together for 2 years. One of the last bastion of common sense on the city council. Conservative principles. Retired Air Force colonel, just a damn good man and a good friend. So, Clayton, we're thankful to have you here today. We appreciate you.
Well, it's good to be here, at least on the phone. I would have loved to have been out there with you personally, but, man, that's a long way to drive way over here from District 10 where I'm at to way over there where you're at.
It's not our fault you live way the heck up on the north side of the town, man. One of these days I'm going to bring you down, and we're going to go cruise the south side, brother.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna show you what it's like. So we're gonna bring you down. We're gonna run you around the south side, introduce you to some other sides of town, man. We've got to get you going.
Wait, you have to remember that I spent 5 years down at Brooks, and that's
about as
south side as you can be.
Call out.
All over that area.
Call out. Hey, all right.
Yep.
Good, brother. You got me. Okay.
All right.
Wait a minute. What happened on that vote today? Talk to us about what your position was. So it failed 5-6 with the renters eviction process there. So Roberto Trevino put forward an idea to give a 60-day notice on rental evictions. What was your position on that?
Well, number one, I said there's no way. We already have this, what we call a housing risk mitigation fund, that's supposed to help folks staying in their place with rent, food, gas, all that kind of thing. And we didn't need this. We did not need this. In fact, on top of the $25 million that we've already set aside, and oh, by the way, I voted against the $10 million coming out of our city budget. I was for moving the federal funds initially about $15 million, and then they wanted to add another $10 million in there, and they had no data to support that, and that's what drives me crazy. We call ourselves a data-driven city council. Well, there was no data. In fact, I asked that several times. Where's the data? Where's the data? And it's crickets on that. But anyway, we have another $270 million already in the bank. It's sent to us. We have it in the bank from the federal government that can go for rental assistance and keeping people in their homes while they've been unemployed. And we had a whole line of people that own rental units and larger ones and mom and pop operations, and everybody was giving us all these horror stories about what could go wrong if this particular ordinance passed. And it was unbelievable listening to these stories that people brought to council today. And, still that there was those folks on council that wanted to pass this and put another business, another industry here in San Antonio under more stress than they can handle. And I'm tired of it. People, it never ceases to amaze me that people don't understand that if we don't have a healthy economy of businesses, where are people going to go to work? It's incredible. They think that the businesses here in this city can keep giving and giving and giving and keep getting beat up time and time again. And they're gonna stay here. No, they're not gonna stay here. They're gonna start moving out, and we're not gonna attract new businesses here to town. We have a very big shortage of Fortune 500 companies. We just got a handful of them. If we could get a few more here in town, it would be fantastic to get that kind of income, that kind of employment, that kind of a tax base added to this city. But we're not going to get that if we keep treating businesses the way we're doing right now. And that's what really, really amazes me, that people don't get that.
Ron, we saw, and you and I saw a lot, and there's a couple people already commented, how do you do it down there? How do you survive by yourself? But, we saw, and we have seen people at city council, right, on the council themselves, making votes like they're spending their own money, right? No respect for business.
Here's the dichotomy of this thing. Everybody on council knows that if this thing passed, we would immediately been hauled to court. We would have been sued. And I even said it today. I said, how many people on this council would go and do something knowing that you're going to get sued and have to pay for it out of your own pocket? And it's crazy. They look at this money, our resources that we have, as funny money. It's not coming out of their pocket, so they don't really care. And
they lose a lot of their cases too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And we're continuing. We just got over a $2 million lawsuit against us finally settled from way back in 2006. But that's $2 million that's got to come from somewhere. And it's just a continual line of lawsuits that we have to go defend and spend our tax money that could be going for helping people here in this town, and not only individuals but small businesses. That's our bread and butter, is small businesses here in town, and yet we keep hammering them.
So today was you. Well, let's just talk about who voted for it, right? Who voted for it, because they have no concept of the property owners, right? Of the real estate owners, of the people trying to earn a business, trying to earn a living with their own business. That is oftentimes, there's an income for multiple people. I mean, thousands of people across the city are in the real estate business and leasing.
Yes.
Either from a series of work, whether it's Airbnb, leasing, whatever. You're taking property, you're earning it as an income source, and oftentimes that is their income source, period. So who voted for it was Roberto Trevino, and Ron Nirenberg supported it today as well.
Yeah, the mayor signed on to it, and Councilman Trevino, Councilwoman Haverda
from District 6.
Councilwoman Sandoval, and in District 7, and then Councilman Courage.
Councilman Courage up in District 9. And we don't often see, you don't often see votes go down like that. Like it is rare when you see a vote fall 5-6 or lose, period. It's rare that you see something lose, only because these decisions and things are usually worked on in advance and votes are harnessed and corralled. But this one looked a little more chaotic because I don't think people were expecting on the dais to see that kind of pushback. It was good. I was proud. I was proud of the council, proud of you that they finally stood up, right? You had enough votes. You had enough votes to help you today.
Well, absolutely. And let me tell you, there was a lot of talking going on before this vote, the pros and cons and what have you, and trying to get enough votes to knock this thing down, and luckily we did, and I'm proud of that. And I think the industry, not only that industry in real estate, but the business community as a whole, needs to wake up. They need to wake up and get the support to those folks that are more business friendly.
There you go.
Help them in keeping employment, raising salaries, and all this. We're just killing them out there.
So 270 million. I got a couple more questions, then we'll let you go. But the 270 million, that's from the CARES Act, right?
Yes.
And that the city is quite a few restrictions on how they could spend that money?
There are some restrictions, but this rental assistance it's fair game. I mean, it's available for that. Now, what the staff is supposed to be doing is coming up with a list of priorities or their recommendation where this money goes to, the 270 million. So we'll see that, I think, this next week on what they're proposing to spend this money on. We got 4 or 5 different priorities out there, and we're going to see how they divvy this stuff up. And it's not a panacea. That's not going to see us home clear. It sounds like a lot of money.
It's going to go quick, especially with that council. Especially with that council.
Yeah. It's not going to last long.
It's not going to last long at all. And final question for you, brother. Judge Wolf mentioned it tonight on the coronavirus update because, every time you have a coronavirus update, Judge Wolf and Ron have to talk about mail-in ballots. It's just any chance they get, they're pushing this. So Commissioner's Court today approved their proclamation, resolution, whatever you want to call it, to support mail-in ballots for everybody in the county. What's your take on that for mail-in ballots, and where are you going to fall on that if it comes up through any sort of council resolution of support?
Well, I don't think it'll come up to the council. It may have somebody might want to put a resolution together, but I won't vote for it because I look at this. We've got people lining up at HEB, Costco, a lot of different establishments that, hey, we're managing that fine, and there shouldn't be an issue with people lining up and keeping the social distancing, wearing masks and that kind of thing if people are afraid of that. And they can do that just as well as going to the grocery store. So I don't have a problem with people going to vote physically instead of the mail-in ballots. And I know there's a lot of folks concerned about the mail-in ballots, and I am too. But hey, at the end of the day, if you're going to be going to HEB, there's no reason you can't go vote.
Yep.
The same thing.
Well, perfect. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you for continuing to hold the fight down there on your own. I was so happy today to see you get some support and people step up, and that's a sign, right? That's a sign that at least some of this tide is turning a little bit. We're thankful for you. You continue to hold conservative principles, financial conservative principles, all those things in line and in check, and you keep after it, man. We're proud of you. Don't stop.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, Greg. And, man, you were easy on me today.
Brother, come on, man. I'm not going to pick on you. Yeah, let's get Manny on here, and then that's going to be a blood fest. Manny Pelaez, District 8. But, yeah, I'm going to invite him on, man. I'll see if he come on. We ought to have him out here. Then we'll all sit around a table and poke shots. That'd be a good one.
I'd be happy to do
Manny
that.
Pelaez,
Absolutely.
come on. We're waiting for you, buddy.
There you go.
Clayton and I are waiting on you. All right, Clayton. We appreciate it, man.
Well, y'all have a good evening.
Thanks for
very
what you
much
do.
For the opportunity.
Thanks for what you do,
Talk to y'all
brother. We'll
later.
talk soon.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
He's it, folks. Last of the Mohicans. He's down there. He's doing all he can to hold the line, and today he got some support. When you're down there at City Hall, I'll tell you how things work real quick. There was a time, it was often just Clayton and I voting against just a litany. I mean, a flood of progressive principles that want this. Look, I'm not look, I can take a look at a policy item and make a decision on it, whether it's progressive, whether it's liberal, Republican, whatever. That make a difference. But the onslaught of spending other people's money, right? City Hall takes your tax dollars and it's like this, man. It's an iron fist of tax dollars. They're not afraid to spend your money and act like it's their money. At the end of the day, that's what this is. And by the way, Ron Nirenberg and the merry band of spenders he commands, they're not job creators. They're not out there creating jobs. They're not out there doing any of that, right? They're not. City Hall doesn't create jobs. Remember that. But City Hall can inhibit, slow down, destroy the economy and job market by passing rules, regulations, ordinances, laws that are overbearing, that destroy business and opportunity, and they hurt our community. We're seeing that right now with the response to the coronavirus. And because what we've done is we've shut down and destroyed a city. And when the leadership is calling you ignorant, when the leadership is calling you fools, today at the city council, we saw some folks stand up to discuss the Chinese virus language proclamation as well as the cenotaph, and they went after the mayor. And we're going to post a clip of that soon on the broadcast.
I have the Owen when he got up.
Oh, you did? You already have it? Can you play it?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I saw it, but I like play it. Here's what happened today.
Owen Schroyer.
I don't want to address this city council because this city council is a joke. This city council is a joke.
Mr. Schroyer, your time's not up yet.
They're up here playing kindergarten.
That's it. Thank you, Mr. Schroyer.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Mr. Schroyer, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
The coronavirus is as deadly as the flu, and yet we have to close our lives? Oh, I'm not even allowed to speak. I'm not even allowed to speak.
Ms. Starr? No, it's not. Ms. Starr? Ms. Starr? All right. Is Ms. Starr here? Okay. Jesus Rodriguez?
Michael Doolittle, I didn't get a chance.
Wow. So, look, look, if I go to City Hall, I'm going to go down there and make an argument. I'm going to stand in front of the dais. I'm going to put my thoughts together, and I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to say what I think, right? And I'm going to try to do it as professional as possible in my way or consideration of professional. That's it. I wouldn't handle it the way is it Mr. Owen?
Yes.
I probably wouldn't. I mean, look, I wouldn't do it like that. But it is his constitutionally driven right to go do it just like that. I don't know. And I was listening to that. I don't know why the officers stepped in, obviously at the behest of the city leadership, to evict him from the council chambers. I didn't see him do anything. I've got to go back and listen to the words. Did you hear him say something out of line, or?
Well, I think he spoke to the people and not to the council, to the members. He was speaking to the people.
Yeah, I mean, you're afforded 3 minutes. So I don't know if you knew this. You can go down to city council. You can speak for 3 minutes.
It wasn't his turn.
And it wasn't his turn. He just walked up. Well, did he sign up? We have to look a little more into this, but you can, for everybody to know, and this kind of came up late in the day, we caught this one, but for everybody to know, you get 3 minutes to go speak to the San Antonio City Council. They won't answer you back. They won't say anything. They won't engage you. They will just watch. So in watching, you get 3 minutes, and you got to go down there and say what you think. I'm going to tell you that for the most part, these votes and things are already done. They're packaged, wrapped, and there's a bow on top. And your 3 minutes is generally ignored by most of the members of that San Antonio City Council. You can go down there every Thursday, sign up the night before, and speak on any item you want. On Wednesday evenings, there's usually a citizens to be heard. So at 6 o'clock, you can go downtown and speak on any item as well that's about to pop up. I tell you that I've seen most city council members treat that like garbage time, if they even show up. And it's tough. You can't make them all, but you can be as many as you can and listen to what people have to say. But look, that's just some of the anger, right? And Betty Eckert said the mayor just gave 2 minutes today. I didn't know if they called. I thought they called his name, but did he cut in line? I don't know. We're going to look into that a little further, because unless he cut in line, if that was his 2 minutes, you got to go. I mean, you got to say what you want to say, and the council member has to sit there and take it. And the mayor has to sit there and take it. If it's their allotted time and they're speaking moments, the 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you got to go and you got to let it happen. So, but that anger is what's building in the city and community. It's building because the mayor and the judge are doing things that don't represent the welfare of our community and city. Now, you could say, hey, Greg, man, they're just trying to save lives. I don't disagree with that. Right? I don't disagree with saying we got to do things to save lives. But there are multiple ways in a leadership scenario to save lives, especially in the setup we're in now as a community and what we're facing. Number one, you've got contact tracing, you got testing, you've got all these things, you got data, the flow of information, you got 100% transparency, all those things that the city lacked at the beginning under Ron Nirenberg's leadership. It lacked it all, right? But now that it's starting to ramp those things up, you also have to simultaneously work on social distancing and then bringing San Antonio back to work. We have to open back up. As much as we fear, we must also face the facts that you can lose your life as fast as you lose your livelihood, as fast as you lost your job. You cannot eat. You cannot pay the gas money. You cannot pay your rent. People must work. And the beauty of San Antonio, and that's why people are upset like they were down there today, because they were told they can't. You see, people say, oh, man, Brockhouse, Chinese virus is racist, man. You can't say that. Kung Flu, you're racist, dude. You hate. I'm not sitting here condoning. Do I run around saying those? No. But it is our right to say what the hell we think in opposition of leadership. Man, that's how the country was founded, right? Under the oppression and tyranny of tell me what to do, I'm going to stand back up and say, this is what I think, right? Sons of liberty is what we stand for, right? Sons and daughters of liberty. But the problem is you elect people who don't see it that way, who see it as though, you know what? Well, let's proclaim to the world that Chinese virus, right, is racist, and this hateful, bigoted community against the Jewish community, of which I'm sorry, San Antonio, that's not the San Antonio I grew up in. It's not who I know, right? It's not. But there are pockets and problems all across our country. But today, people stand up and rise up and say, hey, man, this is what I think. We can't inhibit that speech. We just can't. And in doing it, right, and in inhibiting it, it gets people more angry. So it's not that people want to run around. And this is the stupidity of the whole thing. So you'll see that people got so upset about Chinese virus, right? A guy flew an airplane with a banner that said Chinese virus around San Antonio. People got so upset about it that they then retaliated and struck back, right? And they're striking back in language. They're saying it. They're rebelling, man. That's the beauty of politics, the beauty of governance. The rebellion, right? The changing of the old and the tired and the same old for the new, the energetic, the ideas, the different. That's what rebellion, that's how the United States of America came to be. Tired of the oppression and tyranny. So when you see that in your daily life and you get upset because somebody tells you, right? Somebody tells you can't say this. If you do, you're a racist. I am so sick of the racism card, like played like that. It's not, right? I'm so sick of the Me Too card applying only to Republicans, right? And not Joe Biden. Let him do whatever the hell he wants to do, right? The dichotomy of that, right, issue is huge. But when I look at that and I see people standing up and saying enough's enough, and then the people on the side, right? Then you got Ron Nirenberg and Manny Pelaez. You've got them now saying, see, I told you so. I told you there are a bunch of racists running around. Look at that. Everybody's saying Chinese virus. Man, they're not saying Chinese virus because they hate Chinese people. That's not it. And all due respect to the Chinese American Alliance and the leadership of that community, I know the president. He's a damn good man. Damn good man. Elisa Chan is the leadership of the community. There's a ton of leadership in our Chinese American community here in San Antonio. They're all damn good people. Wonderful people. But now people are inflamed, so they're saying it. And of course, the liberal left, Ron Nirenberg, Manny Pelaez, now they're pointing the finger saying, hey, man, I told you so. That's why we need it. Manny Pelaez even came out and said, hey, man, it's inherent in our country's DNA. It's who we are. We can't get away from it. We're a bunch of racists. What in the hell country do you live in? More importantly, what in the hell city do you live in, Ron? That's not who we are. And when you shine a light on it and you say, oh man, look at this problem, and then you cause a problem, you cannot then turn around and say, see, I told you so. People aren't pissed because they want to run around saying Kung Flu. That's not why they're pissed. People are pissed because you're running around telling them what they cannot say. That's it. Racism stamped out wherever. A friend last week may not even be a friend anymore. But Taj came in and posted and said, man, this is crazy, defending racism. I'm not defending racism. I'm defending the friggin' Constitution. But the problem is you have to sit there and take, as part of who we are as Americans, somebody advocating exactly everything 100% against you. You have to sit there and take it and listen to it because that's the country we live in, and you have to. Now, they can't attack you and hurt you and cause physical harm or damage or do certain things. You can't run into a theater and scream fire. But that's where the city council is today. They screamed fire, right, and think, man, I'm protected by that. Hold on a second. The fire is saying Chinese virus. That's a fire. That's a fire. Ron Nuremberg, that's a fire. Look at it. This is a fire. And then all of a sudden, here come people pissed off, and they go out, they get out of control, and you play right into the narrative that is Ron and his merry band of spenders down there. That's their narrative. This city is wrong. This city is broken. This city is inherently inequitable. This city is inherently racist. This city is inherent. I can point out many members of that council who have said those words and terms. And I tell you, man, the Roosters are coming back on this one. It's coming back because people are going to get pissed off because that's not who we are. So you cannot tell us who we are in an effect to try to build your policy and other things that you want done in our community and city. People are rising up and they're putting it back in the face. And the same thing goes like Clayton was saying, man, what am I doing down here? I'm trying to do the best I can. People are spending other people's money. It's like it's their own funny money. They use division to keep you in check. And when you give them an inch of your liberties and freedoms, they will take a foot. And they will do it while blaming you for their actions. And if they cannot win on the merits or facts, they will attack you as a person. I know it. I lived it. I lived it. Personally. Now, yeah, I put my name on the line, ran for a campaign. I did what I did. I own it. I'm fine with that. I'll stand before any judge on that one. But the point is, they attack you, the citizen, who aren't political. Right? You're just out there trying to live and do your life. And now they're coming after you. So stand up for what you believe in. I look, a little rebellion's a good thing, man. San Antonio now needs to change more than ever. And if we don't stand up for those basic principles, we're in a world of hurt. And the coronavirus, and to wrap this topic up, the coronavirus is wrapping all of this around saving you by taking away little pieces of what makes you you. Don't defend, right? Don't defend this whole thing, Ron. I gotta save our community and city. Nobody wants you to save our community and city, Ron. And you too, Nelson. Nobody thinks, look, we watch those briefings. They're terrible, man. They're terrible. There's no motivation there. There's no positivity. It's starting to eke out a little bit now. But it's time to open up the city back up, and now we're going to see. And we have to take care of each other and learn about this so that when we face it next, we're even better for it. Because the balance somewhere is we don't destroy the economy to save X amount. We got to find that right there, right? We got to figure out where the balance is so that we can keep people working, livelihoods intact. And it's on us as citizens too. It's not just enough to say City Hall sucks. We have to sit there as citizens and also say, what do I got to do in this equation? And I'll tell you what I do. I wear my mask and I socially distance and I try to be as careful as I can. And I do it not because I think, man, I need to follow King Ron. No, I just think about it because, look, man, people in our community are scared. And they're worried. So I want to do my little part of it, even if it means I have to stand 6 feet behind at HEB. I'm all right with that. That's fine. If it's other people comfortability with that, I'm good. I'm going to do that for a fellow San Antonian. That's what happens. You pass laws like a proclamation against Chinese virus language when you don't believe in who we are. That's you, Ron Nuremberg, members of that council, trying to tell us that you don't believe in us, like we are not smart enough or caring enough to understand that that's an issue. By doing it, you have now inflamed it to where now it's all over the damn place. Way to go. Way to create a problem where one didn't exist. That's the San Antonio City Council. Manifested it today in a very small way, but it's going to continue on. And that's who we are now, because we have to point out everybody's little inequity now. Everybody's little issue has to be pointed out. So we live in that world. If Ron and them are going to tell us, then we fight back. We stand up for the principles and things we believe in and say what we believe and let it fly, man. Don't hide it. I've been guilty in the past as a politician, as a candidate for mayor, of trying to please everybody, right? I've done it. I've tried. And I've made votes that I rejected, that I shouldn't have made. I mean, I should have got a little more informed. There are things I learned. Nobody's perfect, man. Nobody's perfect. And everybody can get better. But when you look at all these things, you recognize and you realize facts matter, data matters, and by the way, say what you believe and allow the other person on the other side to do the exact same thing. If we got there, it'd be great. But I'm telling you, man, politics has changed forever. And this leadership and these policies we're seeing, dead in the water. Division is the game. And we got to get past it, which means if they're dividing, we come back even stronger with our ideas and thoughts and the things that matter most. So let's go through some of our screenshots for the news of the day. The coronavirus update, man. Boy, that one gets me going. Coronavirus case counts are going down in almost half of the United States, but it's too soon to celebrate. CNN always making sure that the glass is half empty. Yeah. Thank you, probably Don Lemon, for that one. No, sorry, it's Holly Yam. I have no idea who she is. I just whenever get a chance to make a joke about Don Lemon. But look, again, CNN, always the last to talk, right, about the positive. I got another graph later to talk to you about CNN, how they ran a poll and it showed that Donald Trump was ahead in the 15 battleground states. Actually, the key 7, he's ahead in, up by 7. But they don't show that portion of the poll. They just show Biden leading across the nation. So hilarious. The doom and gloom is there, Ray. You're exactly true. Betty Eckert with the too much city government. I believe that 100%. What's up next? Let's get some more hot shots going. San Antonio City Council consortium. Okay, we talked to Clayton about that one. Notice of proposed eviction failed today 5-6. Very rare you see a vote like that go down with this council. Good work, City Hall. Good work. Texas Attorney General State asked Supreme Court to step into voter rights by mail. This is huge. Clayton answered his piece. Here's my take on vote by mail. No. If you can go to HEB, if you can go get your hair cut, if you can go hang out at Specs, if you can go to Bubba's 33s, if you can go to Las Palapas, Henry's Puffy Tacos, wherever the hell you're hanging out, if you can go there, you can go vote. And Ron Nirenberg and Nelson Wolf want everybody to vote by mail. Here's the final anecdote I'll tell you. I've been in politics for almost 15 years. There are people who are professionally paid in this city. I know their names. We all know who they are if you're in the political game. They are professionally paid to harvest voters, seniors specifically. And they go after them and they falsify records and documents and they falsify voters. They fill them out for them. They're mail-in ballot chasers and they do illegal garbage in our city. Period. I know who they are. I know how biased they are, and they're paid the highest dollar. They'll go out and go to mail-in ballots and fill them out, have them set up, and they'll take advantage of seniors across this city. It is 100% a proven fact that happens in San Antonio. Vote by mail fraud has been going on for as long as campaigns have been going on in this city. And if you open it up wide like that, it's just more money for those people. Legitimately, 100% honesty. People are paid to harvest and falsify voters on vote by mail ballots. It's embarrassing. It's wrong. We can't let that go citywide. It's not about, Brockhouse, but you don't want minorities to vote. You don't want this, blah, 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 blah. That's crap. Easy attack to come back and say, oh, you hate people. You don't want them to vote. No, that's not it at all. If you can go to HEB, Clay makes a great point. You can go to HEB, you can go vote. Right? Besides, 13% of you are voting anyways. Right? So, I mean, come on. Can you do mail-in ballots for overseas veterans and, for overseas active duty military? Hell yes. It works for them. Right? Those are people of honor. They're serving our country. There's not somebody who's sitting over there trying to take advantage of them and harvest votes. That's what's happening when it's done in the city. Someone's going out there lying to people, getting them to fill it out. They're just like this. Here, why don't you go ahead and just sign right here. All you got to do is sign right. I already filled this out for you. I already said right here, vote for Ron Nirenberg. All you got to do is sign it right here. That happens 100%. And the poor voter, especially a senior citizen, is going to sit there and be like, okay, are you sure? Are you sure? Okay. And they'll sign it. That's what they want. They want that. They want the uninformed voter. They want the voter fraudulent actions of those people who get paid to do it. And they don't get paid a few bucks. They get paid like $1 a vote. That's what they charge. Be careful. And Nelson and Ron are just as guilty of it because they've done it themselves. They've hired these same people. It's ridiculous. What's next? Commissioners looking to mail in ballots COVID-19. We've got a great update on that one from Clayton. $270 million of city money from the CARES Act. The county got about $80 million. They voted today to do mail-in ballots. Woo, boy, that's going to go to the Supreme Court. Paxton stepping in. We're going to see what's going to happen. People can say, hey, man, I'm afraid I'm going to die if I go vote because someone's going to get it. And then somebody mentioned, hey, what about the poll watch, the election judges? Their average age is 70. They're in the that we have to have some concerns for that. But we can work on that. We have plenty of time to get prepared to protect the judges, right? The election judges. Let's protect them. Let's find a way to get them where they need to be and protect them. Everybody else shows up, social distance, 6 feet, mask on, go vote. Takes a few minutes. Doesn't hurt. If you can go get your hair cut, you can vote. What's next? City announces 2 walk-up testing sites. Don't forget this. You can test. You can test now without symptoms. So get in there, make it happen. Figure out if you are asymptomatic or where you're at. UTSA professor says introducing herd immunity to combat COVID-19 be morally irresponsible. So Dr. Gutierrez here from UTSA is saying, hey, man, herd immunity may not be the answer here. We don't know if people are immune to the second round of COVID-19. So, look, wise man, but again, this is a math professor. I'm pretty sure I read the story. It's a math professor. He does statistical analysis. So, look, data, there's number in the data. I'm okay with the data. So if he's a statistical analysis, fine, let's talk data. We're going to see what happens on the reinfection rates and that kind of thing. It's going to be very important. This herd immunity conversation is huge because you got plasma antibodies that nobody's really talking about. Nobody's talking about the plasma conversation, about antibodies, about that kind of testing to see who's really there and how can we take plasma from people who have infected and cured, infected, not cured, but who have recovered, taking that plasma and implementing it out in the community. Those are issues we need to address. The city should be stepping up big time on herd immunity, testing, antibodies, as well as figuring out what to do with the plasma conversation. We should be all in that. Yes, contact tracing's over here. We got to be careful of contact tracing because, man, they want to do some crazy stuff. But all of those pieces, all right, are working together in concert to open the city back up. Positive, what we're looking for. What's next? Greg, can my dead father and grandmother vote? Yes, they can, Becky. If it's true, they're asking. If that's true, why are they asking for plasma? Well, the plasma antibodies and the plasma helps some of the recovery rates. It's been working across the country, Ray. Well, you know what? We're going to do some more research on that one, and we'll get some facts for you on that one. I didn't have slides on it tonight, but I'm going to talk about that one next week. When we have real issues that our city faces, the leaders have no leadership, make up an issue, thus the racist Chinese virus. I heard no one say it until it was banned. If that's Pastor Crane, you're dead accurate. I had not heard anybody say Chinese virus except for Donald Trump originally when he said it was the Chinese virus like 3 months ago. When CNN said it too, but it wasn't happening in our city. And then all of a sudden, here we go. All of a sudden, now it's everywhere, right? Guys flying a plane with it. What's next? Today will be your last day working with Uber. Man, this is the job losses right here. Uber, 3,500 employees learn over Zoom. This happened on Monday. This is what I'm talking about, man. These are second jobs. These are people trying to earn extra income, doing whatever they can, right? Doing the best they can, but getting laid off, man. At some point, lives are lost from losing your livelihood. What do we got next? This guy testified yesterday. U.S. immunologist warns of darkest winter if the virus rebounds. Okay, these are scare tactics. And look, they're fact tactics too. I mean, there could be a relapse or a rebound in the fall. And it's going to take some time when it comes to a virus from an immunization standpoint, right? From a vaccine standpoint. It's going to take 18 months. So there could be a rebound. But we're going to have to see, man, can you imagine? Let's say a rebound did occur, what that looks like for the economy, right? What it looks like for your livelihood. You better be saving bucks, man, because I'm not sure the government can print trillion-dollar coins this often to be funding everything. This is unprecedented, And it's tough, but we got to get back open. Solutions looking for problems is right. Vanetta, I think we can count on the data of how other viruses work. Measles, mumps, chickenpox, immunity. What we got next? Anything up next? State says San Antonio pandemic orders are unlawful. So the state of Texas is warning Ron Nuremberg and County Judge Wolf that their local orders are unlawful. This battle is coming. So we have a storied history at City Hall of always wanting to do our own thing, and that's fine. Look, local control matters and the ability for a city, right, to make their own decisions and guide themselves. It's a home rule city. But in the state of Texas, the governor, he is the chief executive of the state. He's seeing things drastically differently, and he has overriding authority right now by the Texas Constitution, who grants cities their home rule and counties their rights, right? Their codified rights within the Texas Constitution. City and county getting at it with the state. Man, this is going to be settled in the courts. But the Attorney General Ken Paxton came out, and he said, "Nah, man, San Antonio, no. Dallas County, nope, can't do that. Austin." So they're now pushing back, saying the masks, all these laws and rules, who can go where, who can't, and it's making the cities fight back. Now, know this. Ron Nuremberg has already made a game of always trying to humiliate Dan Patrick, Ken Paxton, Greg Abbott. He's fought with them all ever since he got on the city council. Right? He doesn't see their way politically, therefore he thinks he's the smartest on the conversation. Judge Wolf is the same. They think the leadership in Austin's a bunch of idiots. And Austin's frankly probably looking at the same thing as San Antonio, thinking the same thing. State leadership's thinking, man, what is going on in San Antonio? Place is out of control. This battle's brewing. Man, people can't work together. All right? The governor is in charge of the state. Ken Paxton's the attorney general. Whether you like Ken Paxton or not, it's his call to make. He's putting it out there, and he wrote a letter saying you can't do that. And of course, Nelson and Ron, in typical Nelson and Ron response, write a letter back. You remember when they wrote a letter to Amazon? Hey, Amazon, we don't want you to come here, man. San Antonio is special. Remember they wrote that ridiculous letter in response to Amazon and their bid process to bring HQ2 somewhere. What are they? They can't pick up a phone and call them? They can't text him? They got to write a letter in a reverse political stunt. They said Paxton was committing a political stunt. Nelson and Ron were committing a political stunt as well, responding back with their, hey, man, you could have called us. That literally was their last line in their letter. Ron and Nelson said, you should just have been able to pick up the phone and call us. They did it while responding back with their own letter. It's just utter ridiculous. But, man, you wonder why there's dysfunction. These people are all over. Look, at the very end of the day, at least I'm working with it. If it's a Democratic governor and I'm the mayor of San Antonio, I'm working with them because I got to get through them for what my community needs, for what this city needs. And if I got to work with them, I'm going to work with them. I'm not going to trash them. They control the purse strings and the rules. We want good relationships, even if it's differing ideology. Even if you disagree and lose from time to time, we want to work with them. San Antonio doesn't work at all with Austin, right, with the Texas state leadership. What's next? We're about near the end of the road here, aren't we? Yes. 7:37, about time to wrap up. So there it is, mail-in ballots. We already got that one. Man, we're on a roll. What else we got? That's that vote from today. Okay, make sure we know who did it. Ron, Roberto, Melissa. Sorry. It's okay, you're good. President, okay. This is delicate. This one we're going to dig into. This is scraping the surface right now. It's a start. Obamagate. So we all know what happened with Russia and the Steele dossier and Crossfire Hurricane, which started years ago when the president took office. Crossfire Hurricane was the wiretapping program. They dragged in General Flynn, the president's national security advisor-elect kind of position. He was about to come in as a national security advisor. They got General Flynn tagged up with this Russian thing with the Russian ambassador Kislyak. They got him on tape. They got him in a room. They accused him of lying to the FBI. They got him removed. They tried to prosecute him. The case was dropped a couple of weeks ago. What we have come to find out is that many members of the Obama administration are responsible for unmasking General Flynn. When you unmask a named American, right? So first of all, you cannot tap a line and listen to an American's conversation you just can't do it. It's not allowed. You're masked from any release of your name or information. You cannot. In the normal course of business, the federal government cannot tap its own citizens like that for no reason whatsoever. If you're intercepted like that, it is ignored, it's pushed aside. You are masked and covered. Obama's chief of staff Obama's leadership team. Stephanie Walsh, I think, the UN ambassador. The National Security Advisor, Susan Rice. They're about to hand over power to President Trump, who they hate with every fiber of their body. Operation Crossfire Hurricane's in effect. This dossier from the Democratic National Committee and the Steele dossier, where it trashed the president, paid for by Hillary Clinton, allegedly. They began a process to unmask and expose General Flynn to, and then the president even orders at some point. Now, this is allegedly, this is what we're going to find out. The president may have been involved with, guess who? Joe Biden at the lead. Joe Biden is involved in these meetings. Of allegedly at this point, we're going to find out, Joe Biden and them may have directed to withhold information from the Trump administration so that they can go after General Michael Flynn. Man, I'm telling you, there is something here. Yeah, let's see Trump's tweet. What did Trump say today? The first person, if I were Senator Congress, first person I would call to testify the biggest political crime in scandal in history by far is former President Obama. He knew everything. Just do it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more talk. The president is pissed. Rightfully so, because it appears as though that the administration was kneecapped right from the beginning. Now, we're going to find out. Lindsey Graham has come back and said, hey, man, not going to do that. That is a bad precedent to start. You don't want to start bringing in former presidents under prosecution like that. Not prosecution, but under investigation. Bring them in as witnesses, testifying, that kind. That could get a little hairy. So there's some constitutional issues there that need to be worked out. Not sure. That's what Lindsey Graham is saying. Let's be careful. We're not sure we want to do that. We want to call former presidents in like that. That could get bad because they have executive privilege. There's a lot goes into that. A lot of things that President Trump argues in favor of protecting. You can't then revoke them from Barack Obama just because you don't like Barack Obama. Tough line. But look, Obamagate is real. Something's going to happen and come of it, and we have to dig in and find out what that's going to look like. It is true, though, that at this point, that General Flynn was unmasked by multiple members of the Obama administration. And let's get to the bottom of it, man. Let's find out what happened. Who released his name and information? Who shared it? Something like 60 people knew about it. Ridiculous. Broken. And it turns out General Flynn didn't do anything. Didn't do what he was accused of doing. He lost his job, lost his livelihood, lost his name and recognition in a lot of circles, and now he's slowly recovering that back. Let's just pray for anything. We pray for truth. We find out what happened. And if Obamagate is real, I think, the president, look, he's in hyperbole, right? We don't know if this is the greatest scandal of all time, but we know it's potentially a scandal. Let's get to the bottom of it. All right, we're up next on the memes. We're about finished up. What we got? Ah, yes. That's Senator Johnson on point, like we just talked about. All right, I think we're about good, ready to pop into the memes. Look, last chance, last call. That's the first Obama meme. Hang on a second. Leave that one right there. Don't forget, like and share the page. If I see you in the share column, 10 meals, 10 hamburgers and fries, 10 family meals, 4 hamburgers, 4 fries, 4 drinks in each meal.
Oh, wow, really? That much?
Yeah, you get in the meal, you get the family meal, you get 4 burgers, 4 fries, 4 sodas.
Dang.
Share the page, man. Dang. Papa's Burgers. That's the raffle tonight, courtesy of Align Mortgage, the broadcast, and Brian Pena of the Toronto Group. We love them. Those are the burgers right there off of Old Highway 90, Papa's Burgers. In fact, you're going to get, those are the actual burgers.
Do they deliver right now?
They don't deliver, but you can roll up there and grab that food, man. It's fantastic. Share the page, right? Share the podcast. You get enrolled, and we're going for it. We're going to give away 10 family meals.
Never been, bro.
10. Number 4 rated burger in the nation. I'm telling you right now, no lie, I'll stop, I promise. It's the best burger you're going to have in San Antonio.
True.
Best burger, I guarantee it. Put that Obama meme back up. That's actually not... So the president had his official portrait drawn when he left office with his wife. His was done in this flowery background. It's a pretty cool photo. But this is him with his glass, with his binoculars, right? President Obama, Spygate, his own Obamagate. We're watching. Ray Rodriguez, he says he can vouch for those burgers. Ray says he knows too much. Yeah, he does. Next meme. So Governor Newsom says California won't go back to normal until we have a vaccine. Here's the problem. California has been normal for 20 years. That's true. San Francisco. What's next? Hey, make sure we remember Sonia. She says she shared twice, but Facebook doesn't like me. No, Sonia, they don't like me. What did you learn in science today? I learned how to influence social policy by manipulating data, Mom. Ooh. I love this, man. This is for all you back to the past. When you saw this, you knew shit was about to get real. Man, I'm telling you, dude, yes, you did. David Banner. He was the best Hulk, man, because he turned into which person? Who played who he turned into? Louis Ferrigno, baby.
I met him in California.
Yeah, you did? That's a very nice man, right? By all means. What a way to start your morning. Pop-Tarts with Bud Light. A la fregada.
Who's that? Hey.
My Theo Jr. right there with the hamburgers comment. I love it. And my Theo this is my Theo Jr. right there. He wants those hamburgers, man. Might have to make it happen here. Not that I'm not gonna rig this election. Whoa.
He can mail in instead of...
You can, hey, Theo Jr., you can mail in your ballot for the burgers. I don't think he understands the gravity of this situation. I just love this one because this is why women live longer than men.
That is true. That is so true. Gotta give it to women.
Yep. Oh, I love this one right here. We talked about this one a little bit earlier. How my Facebook feed, this is actually true. Put on your mask. Kiss our ass. Sons of Liberty. Marijuana is legal. Haircuts are not. It took 50 years, but the hippies finally won. I love that one. I'm sorry, I do. This is the murder hornet. That is the picture of freedom. Love it. The murder hornet. Hillary Clinton, down at the bottom. I hope other governors around the country follow Gavin Newsom's lead. No voter should be forced to choose between their safety and exercising their civic duty this fall. James Wood, who's an ultimate troll. I see you with the printer and obituary lists, filling out the harvested ballots by candlelight in a wine cellar in a muumuu. James Wood's a mess. I don't know. This actually isn't a meme.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened.
Lethal rabbit virus discovered in California.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah, rabbit virus. I wanted to be the first to call out the rabbit virus.
There you go.
Major. What street was that? Lieutenant. Loop 1604. They still haven't expanded it. Laugh out loud. Laughing my freaking ass off. Women. We only believe women who accuse Republicans. You know what? I'm just loving that hypocrisy. The Me Too hypocrisy is absolutely awesome. There used to be a group here when I was in the middle of an election. They called themselves Me Too. And they disappeared off the face of the earth after the election. They served their anti...
It was seasonal.
Yeah, it was seasonal. Metu was seasonal. Metu, led by a domestic abuser herself, Metu was seasonal. That's the hypocrisy of it. Absolutely love it. You know what the sad part is? That they're detracting, right? Like they're detracting from the issue with their hypocrisy and calling out people when they're guilty of things themselves and then only doing it based on political needs, right? You just destroyed an entire movement. Sorry, destroyed an entire movement. I've known Joe for over 20 years. He's never once tried to grope me. Rosie O'Donnell. Hey, man.
Sorry.
Rosie O'Donnell. She's tough. Hey, remember when the president called her out in the debate? God. Brutality. Is that it? That's it. All right. Oh, just in case, too, I wanted to make sure we remember this one here. This is part of the Chinese virus thing. I just wanted to remind people what xenophobia is. Dislike of or prejudice against people from other countries. We don't think that. Chinese American, we don't think that at all. This is ridiculous. The resurgence of racism and xenophobia. It's like the city council got their hands on a thesaurus, a dictionary, and they're going to town on every word they can find to poke fun at Americans. All right, I think that's it, right?
I got one more.
Please don't be anything insulting that I have to fire you for.
No, I got you.
70 people died in Chicago today from coronavirus, complicated by bullet holes. Man, dude. A lot of things are getting reclassified as coronavirus deaths. It's all good. Hey, man, it's all good. So, we appreciate you. We're thankful. Put a share in there right now. We're wrapping it up. We're wrapping up the show. Put a share in. 10 Papa's Burgers meals, courtesy of Brian Pena, Realtor Torado Group. Put him out there. You need an opportunity. Let us know. You can find him, Brian Pena. I'm sure he's on Facebook. San Antonio, Brian. I don't think there's another Brian Pena in town. I don't know. Maybe not. Brian Pena Realtor. Put it out there. He's helping buy the burgers. Alliant Mortgage is, of course, helping us out and the broadcast. investing a little bit in thanking each of you. We appreciate you. Facts matter. Information matters. Get out there and say what you believe. In the name of Sons of Liberty, stand up and rebel. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And when they come back at you, because you have a different idea, when they come back at you and say a series of, you're a racist, you're xenophobic, you're anti-LGBT, you're anti-immigrant, you're whatever, right? Whatever they say about you, know this, because they say things about me and they have for years. And guess what? To all you fools out there who think, man, we're just going to go after people, we're just going to attack him personally. And in the absence of truth, let's just lie. Let's just make crap up. Just want you to know, we're going to keep coming. We're not going to stop. And if we keep coming, putting the information out there, and you stand up for what you believe in, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt for people to accuse you of bad things or to say terrible things or to demean you personally. It's going to hurt you. But if you step down and don't stand up, that's exactly what they want. They're successful, right? Don't give them the success of shutting you up, of masking you up, of telling you how to live your life, and then destroying it on the other hand with onerous laws and regulations that are putting you out of business, out of work, and out of life. We don't want to lose people to the coronavirus. The last thing any soul in this city wants is a coronavirus death. But the truth is, together we get through it. And it's not just one side telling the other side how to live their lives. That's Ron and Nelson Wolf. It's not them in charge of saving all of us. It's all of us working together, because that's what San Antonio is. I've lived here my entire life. Yesterday when the Thunderbirds flew over, I couldn't be any more proud of our community and city. You well up with pride. Where is that pride from the city council? It's not pride in a proclamation that says, don't be a racist. It's pride in knowing how great this city already is. And we have to open it back up. There is risk involved with that. We all own a piece of that. Mask up yourself on your own choice. Practice the social distancing and do what's right. Not because Ron Nirenberg told you. I could give a damn less what Ron Nirenberg says. Do it because you know, hey man, there's people in our community who need help. We have to be careful. And let's get through it together. Let's open the city back up. Let's put people back to work. And let's learn from it so that in the future we put a few more policies in place. We're a little more careful. We get back to basics at City Hall. And here's the truth. When we come out of this, we're not going to have as much money as we once did as a city. Which means now more than ever, back to basics leadership, conservative financial principles at City Hall, putting the money where it matters most will be most important. We thank you. We appreciate you. Like it, share it, push it out for all to know. The broadcast is officially out.